All right, Coach Bascom again. And this time I'm making a video looking at outside linebackers and their coverage in a cover three defense. So the outside linebackers we have here, generally I call this one S for the strong side linebacker or solo. And this one's the wolf or weak side outside linebacker. Initially, let me just talk about their zones a little bit. For the outside linebacker, he is pretty much covering. He's got a lot of ground to cover. If you play outside linebacker, you've got quite a bit of space to cover. You are covering from the outermost guy on the line all the way through the flats, which is this space here behind the line of scrimmage where running back might couch and out pass, really to almost 10 yards behind you. So you have quite a bit of distance that you have to cover if you're an outside linebacker. The same would be here on the weak side as well. You're covering from the flats to any outside under, even to some drop behind you, up to at least 10 yards behind you. So it is quite a bit of space you have to cover. So if you're playing outside linebacker, I am really looking for somebody who has good speed and discipline. Speed in the sense that they have, like I said, a lot of ground they have to cover laterally from side to side, as well as horizontally up and down the field. So but discipline in as far as that you know how to cover your zone. And finally, a little bit of aggression, because when that play comes, whether it's a run or a pass, I need you to get to that play and kill the play as quickly as possible. So there can't really be a delay in you if you're going to play outside linebacker. You're aligned here generally. I would want you close to head up, 5 yards off the line of scrimmage against the guy opposite from you, usually in the slot. For some teams call him the H or the Y, doesn't matter, but the innermost receiver, the second innermost receiver, usually lined up on him this way, especially against 10 personnel. And when the play begins, any linebacker, but especially outside linebackers, your first move is a jab step in. You know, you're playing run first initially. So I would want to see this running back take a quick jab step in, just a single step. And in that tenth of a second it takes you to take that jab step, you're looking for keys, like giveaways from the offensive line, from what the offense is doing from down and distance, to determine first if it's a run play or a pass play. In that jab step, you're looking and reading one of the interior offensive linemen. You're looking to see if they're driving forward. If they're driving forward, 99% of the time, it's a run play, especially if they're coming rather aggressively. If you see that guard, because usually that's the man that's open. If you see that guard come across the line of scrimmage, driving ahead, keeping his head down, it's a run. And in that case, your job becomes very simple. Find the play, kill the play. But if that lineman in that tenth of a step for your jab step, if you see that lineman's head come up or him drop back, that's usually indicating it's a pass. Another way to indicate if it's a run or a pass is down and distance. If it's third and a lot, 90% of the time, an offense is going to try and pass the ball because they need to get a large number of yards in a rather short period of time. So the best way to do that usually is to throw. So you want to be aware of down and distance, but you also want to read your keys, which in this case, like I said, it's an interior lineman. It might also be the personnel that's on the field. It might be tendency from you watching film, but let's play this for it's a pass. Like I said, you have a rather large zone that you have to cover. So your responsibility, this underneath zone. So you have all this space you're responsible for here. So this is you. Initially, what you're going to do is you're taking that jab step and then you're coming back. You're dropping back diagonally and watching anything in your zone. If he does anything like this, you have him. He's in your zone. He is your responsibility because the corner's going to have to drop deep. Okay, in a cover three, he's got to cover his deep third. So anything inside the zone would be yours. If this guy decided even to come here and then break in, you have him while he's here, and then you would transition him to the Sam, to the inside linebacker. There has to be some communication with him. Sometimes it can just be eyesight where you see him. Sometimes it can be calling out, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. But you have him while he's in your airspace, while he is in your zone. The thing you do have to be concerned about, though, is if he comes straight up the field. You're lined up 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. So if he's coming at you, he's coming generally from 7 yards away. If we see him here and he's 4 yards away from you, 3 yards away from you, 2 yards away from you, and he hasn't turned his hips, he's still coming deep. He's not making an indication of moving left or right. You need to start, as you're dropping back, as you're backpedaling, you have to be aware that you're going to have to go up with him. It's what I call taking the ride. If he's still coming at you in this 10 personnel with twins left and right, if he's still coming straight at you, you have to prepare for the possibility that he's going to head up the field. And yes, you do have to cover him at that point. And then our cover three kind of changes a little bit into a bit of cover four, because now you're coming deep with him. If you do make the move to come with him, we're going to see the safety here. And remember, his default move is to drop back, and he's dropping. If he sees you coming back with him, he's going to come back towards the middle of the field and start eyeballing over here, because now he's got to be concerned with it too. So it is really important that you're reading your receiver here and reading his hips, not his head, not his arms, but reading his hips in case he does run that deep pattern. But here, let's say it's first down, second down, a third in midfield. You do have to cover your zone. So what you would do here, and let's come back to you here, you would drop, and let's say he's doing the out pattern here. You're going to move with him. Once the ball comes out, once the quarterback sees that pattern, let's say he starts throwing it, what I need you to start doing at that point is once the ball is out, you are then attacking the space. You're closing down the space between you and that receiver, that inside receiver. You're closing down the space. So you get close enough to where you are what I call in his pocket, where you are close enough where if you needed to, you could literally put your hand in his pocket. Once you're there in that space, you're using your backhand that should be on his back, and then your front hand is sweeping downward so that he cannot catch the ball. You're not playing for the pick or the interception until first and foremost, you have to be in his pocket. You have to be extraordinarily close. And two, to where you have superior positioning, where you're able to make that jump on the ball. He's not going to have a play on the ball where you're almost a better likelihood of catching the ball than him. Short of that, I don't want him catching the ball, because if you jump the route, if you try and go there sooner than necessary, where you're not right in his pocket, where you're not close enough, if you miss the ball, he's going to be gone. And that's the problem, because you see here we have the corner that's already dropping deep. So you're the only guy here. So if you jump that route too early because you're eager and you're hungry for an interception, and you jump too early when you weren't in his pocket, when you weren't close enough, and he catches it and you do not, he's going to get 10 plus yards before anybody gets to him. And we just don't want that. So you don't play that ball. You play that man while he's in your zone. And you're going for that. You're going to disrupt the pass. You're going to break up the pass. You're not going for the pick until you know 95% chance probability you have a better play in the ball than he does. I hope that makes some sense.
Are you